I want to talk about Dak and Kellen Moore, and I'm not taking a shot at all old coaches. Vic Fangio for Denver could work. But there is something to be said if you're a quarterback and you get a coordinator who just played, who just was
Fresh out.
So tell me about, what do you think about Kellen Moore and Dak? What are those meetings and film sessions like?
I think it's a positive fit. I think it's an open line of communication. I think he can relate to Dak, and I think Dak can relate to him. So, when you play the quarterback position like Kellen Moore has in his career, it's probably times where he think about his career and, I wish I would have done this better. And if I'd had the opportunity to, be put in this position, I would have made the most of it. And he see that for Dak. So I think the line of communication is open where they can talk about concepts. They can talk about what may work. And it's nothing better than having a guy where you can talk to, can understand you, and put you in a position where you can be successful. That's where the confidence level comes from. That's why Dak looked the way he did yesterday.
You always said that about Andy Reid, that Andy was the first real great offensive teacher you had.
Teacher with an open line of communication to say, Andy, you know what? I don't like this, coach. I'm not comfortable with this, and let's give this play a shot. Sometimes it's not easy when you have a coordinator who
has
believes
a system
in certain things. Yes, it's going to work, and just give it a shot. And so you're wasting downs.
This is very interesting. Kellen Moore doesn't have a system. Kellen Moore has a quarterback.
And weapons.
That he wants to create a system.
Yeah.
So sometimes the older employee, like I've got a way, I talked to a buddy of mine who used to be a manager of people. He goes, I love getting college kids because I don't have to break any bad habits.
Right.
I can teach them all their habits. And Kellen Moore doesn't have any bad coaching habits yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's proven that Kellen's a good teacher. The way they took advantage of the play-action game, with Zeke being back on the field, and, it looked like the Giants was playing a lot of cover 2, Tampa 2, and just the play action was Zeke was sucking the linebackers up, and they was the tight ends and slot receivers. Randall Gallup was getting behind the Mike Backer down the middle. I mean, simple stuff that works. And sometimes that's all you need, and I think Kellen understands that from being a quarterback, that you have to sometimes dumb it down a little bit, do the things that's going to be efficient, put points on the board.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Brady's been taking snaps for 20 years. For young players, there is value in simplicity because it allows you to you can play faster.
Right.
Dak didn't look like he had to worry too much. I mean, it was like ball out, boom. It was such a quick rhythm offense.
It was quick rhythm. He was in the rhythm. The protection was great. Having Zeke was probably the biggest reason everything worked, because you have to pay attention to him. And then you got Cooper, you got Gallup, you got Cobb. That's a lot to game plan for. And I know the New York Giants, aren't as good personnel-wise, but still, this is the NFL. I mean, guys out there playing hard, but they just getting beat. And that was a credit to the system yesterday. That the game plan beat the New York Giants the way they did. Right.
What did you make of Lamar yesterday? What did you see that you liked? I mean, obviously, he threw for a zillion yards.
Oh, man, it was an amazing performance by Lamar. I didn't expect that, But, when you spend your entire offseason working on your passing game, working on your accuracy, spending time with your receivers, doing the things that you're supposed to do as a quarterback to make sure that when you step on the field week 1, you give your team everything that you can, it showed. And regardless if it was the Miami Dolphins, it's still the NFL. You still got a game plan.
You're on the road.
Yes, you're on the road. It's not easy. It's week 1. Haven't had a ton of reps in preseason. And the game plan was just, it was stunning. Lamar didn't pull it down and run it too many times.
Nope.
We don't see any running highlights. We see all passing highlights. And, that's growth at the quarterback position. So, obviously, these game plans will probably change from week in to week out, but I think the Dolphins probably came in expecting something different, and they got served.
I'll tell you something. You never hear about Lamar Jackson in the offseason. Every time I heard about him, he was practicing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
All this organization done is support him, get him help.
Yep.
I never see Lamar Jackson is never distracted. Maybe he's doing commercials. They're not showing up on the channels I watch. That kid is focused. He's like Dak.
His mom helped him stay focused as well.
He is all in. Let's talk about Baker Mayfield. Here's what I worry about. Baker's talented. I'm not denying that. Cleveland's offensive line is a problem. The GM traded away their second-best offensive lineman to the Giants. I didn't get it. I don't think you trade away elite offensive linemen, especially from young quarterbacks. And Baker's 5'11 and a half. Baker's not Joe Flacco big. I got to tell you, I watched that offensive line, Michael. Baker better get the track shoes on.
Let me tell you, the offensive line, it will be the reason you win or lose. I mean, especially down the stretch. Early on in the year, you see problems, they're correctable, you can fix them. But when you trade away guys who are like the staple, the leaders of the offensive line, the guys who, maybe a young guy on the offensive line may lean on or look up to because of, his abilities and where he stands as a, Pro Bowl caliber type of player, man, it goes a long way. It goes a long way as far as those guys gelling and the continuity.
Do you think offensive lines, bad ones get worse as the season goes on?
Bad ones get worse as the season goes on. And then, you have a team opponent that looks at the tape and say, okay, they're weak in this area. We're going to attack, we're going to attack this gap. We know they can't protect the B gap, in this type of formation. You get the game plan for you and things just get worse. I've been there. We had a bunch of injuries in 2012 when I was in Philadelphia.
On the O-line.
On the O-line, and we just couldn't make up for what we had lost. And, for a guy like Baker Mayfield who can be mobile at times, but, that's not his forte. It's getting the ball out quick. It's him.
It's accuracy.
Accuracy and spreading the ball around. He needs that. If he don't have it, this is what you get. And then guys like Landry and Beckham, they're not even an asset to the team at that point.
Yeah, think about this. The 6 or 7 best teams in the AFC all have one thing in common. Chargers, Chiefs, Steelers, Patriots, all have pass rushes. Yep. Houston. Now, Houston may not have a great offensive line. Yeah. The pass rushes in the AFC are real. Tennessee, Jarrell Casey. Oh. So to me, Cleveland's weakness is the strength of the elite teams in the AFC, which is we're going to win one-on-one battles outside of the left guard for Cleveland. They don't have an elite lineman on their roster.
That's such a downer because a team with so much potential, you can't protect.
Game over.
Game over. You don't go far.
All right, let's talk about Antonio Brown. You were in the league long enough, 14 years. I never thought the Oakland thing would work because they're too dysfunctional for a dramatic personality.
Right.
Pittsburgh, it worked, should be noted, for a long time.
Yeah.
I think it works in New England for a while. It feels Darrelle Revis. Right. He's great, mutually beneficial. I don't think it'll be Randy Moss successful. Could be. But my takeaway is, here's my question with you. If you're a Twitter guy and a social media guy and you go to the one organization that just
tolerate it,
they don't let their assistant coaches talk to the press.
Right.
Can he change a little?
Well, I think Antonio is at a crossroads where, he can read between the lines. I think in free agency this year, there was a ton of teams who could have probably paid Antonio, brung him in. He could have been an asset for him. Antonio ends up in Oakland. And listen, not to knock Oakland, but when you go to Oakland, sometimes it could be guys' last stop.
By the way, Randy Moss went to Oakland and just shut it down.
Yeah,
He's like, he shut it down. I'm not going to play for you guys.
Right. It could potentially be your last stop. And I thought it would work with Antonio. I thought there was a team that really needed him. But, now he's in New England. The tolerance is going to be different. Can he make the adjustment? I think this is where Antonio's true leadership skills will have to come into play. You have Tom Brady, you have Bill Belichick, two guys in the NFL who, just their presence, can change, the way you look at, anything in life. So I think Antonio is going to have to put the phone down.
Andy Reid, you said Andy Reid did this to you. You matured.
Yeah.
Andy had a heart-to-heart and said, Michael.
Right.
Okay, it's time for you to be an NFL veteran player.
Yeah.
And Andy Reid, because you respected him, changed you.
Yeah.
Do you think Belichick looks at AB and says, here's my 9 trophies, or here's my 6 trophies? Can he change him?
Yes. I think AB is going to have so much respect for Tom. Mind you, I've seen on plenty of occasions AB and Ben interactions. And, from my standpoint, my way of looking at it, I thought and I felt like they really had a good relationship.
That's what I thought early.
On the field, Antonio was always smiling. He loved Ben, if you ask me. And I know he'll feel the same way playing with Tom. AB is really happy when things are going well. He loved to win, but he loved to get the ball. And the one thing about, the New England Patriots, they're going to find a way to make, this acquisition work regardless. And if it don't, then we'll see. But I can't see a guy like Antonio, as talented as he is with the rest of those guys, not coming into this organization and being successful in his own right for whatever role they're going to allow him to play. I mean, they looked so good last night, it almost looked like, why was this decision even made? But, they got something up their sleeve like they always do. So I think he'll change. If it's two guys that can change him, it's Belichick and Tom.
Kyler Murray running around, looked overwhelmed a little bit. I'm just going to hold off. Detroit's got the fourth best defense in their own division. I'm not making any calls on this. He does look a little small to me, but he does throw an accurate football. Kyler Murray, any thoughts what you saw?
Yeah, it took him a while to get going. And listen, I didn't expect him to come out and look like Patrick Mahomes in his second year. I knew it was going to be some growing pains. Like I said yesterday, he has to learn on the job, and it took him 3 quarters, but he found a rhythm, got it right. Detroit's not that good of a team. It was a good opening day for him. We'll see how he progresses.
Do you remember your first NFL start?
Yeah, I do. It was a disaster. It was a disaster against the Dallas Cowboys. And
fast,
speed of the game was different. I played a little bit in week 1, but it was like 4 or 5 snaps. I wasn't in total control, and I didn't have the responsibility of leading the team. But it was way too early for me. I just wasn't ready.
Yeah, by the way, that's okay.
Yeah, and these guys are getting opportunities to play as rookies, which means, in 3 or 4 years from now, he may be looking like Dak Prescott out there. I wouldn't be surprised.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.